Hey, I'm Nate.
And I'm Sky. Welcome to Say It Real, the podcast that helps you speak real English with confidence.
We kick things off with good vibes and real talk.
So grab your headphones and let's get started.
Welcome to Say It Real, the podcast for English learners who want to sound less like a textbook and, well, like a real person. I'm Nate.
And I'm Sky. And today we are diving into grammar. But wait, don't switch off. We promise this isn't going to be a boring lecture.
Right, we're talking about the kind of grammar that can make the difference between being understood and getting that weird, confused look from people. You know the one.
Ugh, I know that look. It's that little head tilt. It just instantly kills your confidence, doesn't it? You could be saying something really smart, but one tiny mistake makes you feel like you failed.
Exactly. And look, every single learner makes mistakes. That's just part of the deal. But today, we're going to tackle the number one most common, most frequent, most everywhere grammar mistake that almost every English learner makes.
And we're going to show you how to fix it so you can feel way more confident in those big moments like a job interview or a presentation or even just ordering a coffee.
It actually reminds me of a story. A good friend of mine, super smart guy, was prepping for this huge, life-changing interview for his dream job. The pressure was really on, and he was practicing his answers with me over video call, and you could just see the nerves. He kept saying things like, "The company culture are amazing," and "My experience fit the role perfectly."
Ugh, I can feel the cringe. It's so close to being right, but it's just off.
Totally. And I knew exactly what he meant, of course, but in a high-stakes situation like that, those tiny errors can make you sound, well, a little less polished. It's not fair, but it's true.
It's so true. I remember when I was learning Spanish, I made a similar mistake. I was trying to say, the people are friendly, but I used the singular form of the verb. The person I was talking to understood me, but I could see that little flicker of confusion in their eyes. It's a small thing, but it can really throw you off. Okay, so let's name this beast. What are we actually talking about here?
The official fancy term is subject-verb agreement.
Which basically just means the subject of your sentence and the verb of your sentence have to agree. They have to match. If the subject is singular, like one person or thing, the verb needs to be singular. If the subject is plural, more than one, the verb needs to be plural.
It sounds simple, right? But it's so easy to get wrong. The biggest one is for he, she, or it. You have to add that little s to the verb in the present tense. Not he speak loud, but he speaks loud.
Ah, the phantom S. It disappears all the time. I think a big reason is that for so many learners, their first language doesn't do this. Like in Japanese or Mandarin, the verb doesn't change at all. So your brain is literally not wired to think about it.
And then English throws curveballs, like the verb to be. It doesn't just add an s, it changes completely. I am, you are, he is, they are. It's a total mess.
It really is. And what about when you have two subjects, like Tom and Mary? Your brain hears two people, so are coming makes sense. Tom and Mary are coming. Easy. But what about either Tom or his friends?
Oh, that's a good one. With or, the verb agrees with whatever is closest to it. So either Tom or his friends are coming, because friends is plural and it's right next to the verb.
See, even for us, we have to pause and think for a second. Another tricky one is words like team, family, or group. In American English, we treat them as a single thing. The team is playing well.
Right, but in British English, they often treat it as a group of individuals. So you might hear, the team are playing well. Both are correct. You just have to pick a side and stick with it.
And speaking of tricky stuff, can we talk about there is and there are for a minute? Because this one trips people up all the time, especially when you have lists.
Oh, yes. This is such a common mistake. People think it's about counting all the things, but it's not. Here's a secret. It's only about the first thing you mention. Like, there is a pen, some paper, and 3 books on the desk.
Right, because pen is singular, so it's is. But if you flip it around, there are 3 books, some paper, and a pen on the desk. Now it's are because books comes first and it's plural. Your brain wants to count everything, but English only cares about that first item.
And here's another one that gets people. When the subject gets separated from the verb by a whole bunch of words, like, improving the living conditions of people in crowded cities is or are important. You hear people in cities right before the verb, so your brain wants to say are.
But the real subject is improving, that whole gerund thing at the beginning. Improving is singular, so it's improving the living conditions is important. You have to mentally cross out all those distracting words in the middle to find your real subject.
Oh, and we need to talk about quantities. A lot of, some of, most of. These are sneaky because they work differently depending on what comes after. Like, a lot of water is spilled versus a lot of students are here.
Exactly. It's all about whether the noun after of is countable or uncountable. Water, you can't count it, so it's is. Students, you can count them, so it's are. But your brain is like, wait, a lot sounds like a lot. That should be plural, right? Nope.
And we mentioned everyone earlier, but there's a whole family of these tricky words. Somebody, anything, nobody, each, either, neither, they all take singular verbs, even when they feel plural in your head.
Right, like nobody knows the answer, or each of the teachers has a different style. You hear teachers and want to say have, but nope. Each is the boss and each is always singular. It's like these words have superpowers over grammar.
You know what else makes this harder? Irregular verbs. Most verbs are pretty straightforward. Walk, walks, eat, eats. But then you have the big 3 troublemakers. Be, have, and do. These guys just do whatever they want.
Oh my gosh, yes! Like, to be is just chaos. I am, you are, he is, she is, it is, we are, they are. There's no pattern. And have becomes has for third person singular, and do becomes does. You just have to memorize these troublemakers. You know, there's a really interesting psychological reason this is so hard. It's this idea of cognitive load. Your brain is already juggling so much the vocabulary, the pronunciation, what you actually want to say.
And then it also has to check for subject verb agreement. It's like spinning plates. And sometimes one is going to drop.
Exactly. And there's a conflict between what feels right and what is grammatically right. Take the word everyone. Conceptually, you're thinking of many people, right? It feels plural.
Totally. A whole room of people.
But grammatically, it's a singular noun. So we have to say everyone is happy, not everyone are happy. Your brain has to fight its own intuition. It's a real mind bender.
So, okay, we get it. It's hard. But how do we get better? What are some practical things our listeners can do, like starting right now?
My number one tip is to read and listen actively. Don't just consume content. Notice it. When you're watching a show or reading a blog post, pay attention to the subjects and their verbs. You'll start to see the patterns everywhere.
Oh, and read things out loud. It helps connect what your eyes see with what your mouth says. It builds that muscle memory, so the correct forms start to sound right to your ear.
Good one. Also, write. Just write a few sentences every day, and then use a tool like a grammar checker to review it. But don't just accept the correction. Ask yourself why it was wrong. Think of the checker as a coach, not just an answer key.
And when you're speaking, especially at first, it's okay to slow down. Give your brain a half second to find the subject and match the verb. It might feel a little slow at first, but accuracy builds speed. Over time, it'll become automatic. Oh, and here's a really practical tip. Make flashcards for those irregular verbs. Write I, you, we, they, have on one side and he, she, it, has on the other. Just drill them until they're automatic. It sounds old school, but it works.
I love this one too. The point and speak method. Just point at objects around you and make sentences. The lamp is on. The books are heavy. My coffee is cold. It sounds silly, but you're training your brain to automatically match subjects and verbs in real time.
But you know what? Let's talk about what not to worry about too much. Because I think sometimes learners get so stressed about perfect grammar that they forget the main goal is just communication.
Exactly. Here's the thing. Native speakers make mistakes too. We say things like, me and John are going, instead of John and I are going. We're not grammar robots. If someone understands you, you've succeeded. Perfect grammar is the goal, but don't let it paralyze you.
And honestly, making mistakes is how you learn. Every oops moment is your brain creating a new pathway. So don't be afraid to speak up even if you're not sure. The worst thing that happens is someone gently corrects you, and then you know for next time.
Okay, you know what? Let's practice a few right now. Let's do some guided repetition. We'll say a sentence, leave a short pause, and you, our amazing listener, can say it back. Out loud if you can. Ready?
Let's do it. First one. She speaks 3 languages.
Nice. Okay, next one. The dog eats twice a day.
All right, a tricky one now. Everyone is here.
One more. There is a book on the table.
Great job. It feels a bit weird at first, but it really does help.
Okay, let's do a few more practice sentences, but this time with some of the trickier examples we just talked about. Ready?
Here's a tricky one. There are some cookies, milk, and a sandwich in the kitchen.
Nice. Next one. Nobody wants to work late tonight.
Perfect. Here's one with quantities. A lot of people are coming to the party.
Excellent. Last one. This is a tough one. Each of the teachers has their own classroom.
Great work. Those were much trickier than the first ones, but if you got them, you're really getting the hang of this.
All right. You ready for a little quiz? No pressure, just for fun. We'll say a sentence and you decide if the grammar is correct or incorrect. True or false?
Let's go. Sentence number 1. My friends and I is going to the cinema. Correct or incorrect?
That one is incorrect. The subject is my friends and I, which is plural, so it should be are going.
Gotcha. Sentence number 2. Each of the students have a book. Correct or incorrect?
Ooh, that's a tricky one. The answer is incorrect. The subject is each, which is always singular, so it should be each of the students has a book.
Gotcha. Last one. The news is on at 6. Correct or incorrect?
And that one is correct. Even though news ends in S, it's an uncountable singular noun. So the news is. You guys did great.
Okay, before we wrap up, let's do a super quick vocabulary recap. The main term today was
Subject-verb agreement, making your subject and verb match.
and we talked about singular subjects, which means one.
And plural subjects, which means more than one. Remember to use the base form of the verb for plural subjects, like they walk, not they walks. So, to wrap all this up, remember, the goal isn't to sound fancy or perfect. It's about clarity and confidence. This one mistake is super common, but the good news is that it follows clear patterns.
It's a marathon, not a sprint. Don't get discouraged. Every time you notice an error or correct yourself, that's not a failure. That's your brain getting stronger and building new connections. You're literally rewiring it for English fluency.
So true. And we're here to help you on that journey. If you found this episode helpful, it would mean the world to us if you'd subscribe to Say It Real wherever you get your podcasts.
And please leave us a comment or a review. Let us know what you think and tell us what other English topics are giving you trouble. What's your personal #1 mistake you'd like us to cover? We read every single comment.
Yeah, talk to us. Thank you so much for listening and for putting in the work to improve your English. You've got this. Before we go, I want to share one more real-world scenario that might help. Imagine you're in a meeting at work, and you want to say, the data shows that our customers are happy. But you accidentally say, the data show that our customers are happy. Is that wrong?
Ooh, that's a good one. Data is technically a plural noun. It's the plural of datum. So grammatically, the data show is correct. But in everyday American English, most people treat data as a mass noun like information. So they say the data shows. Both are acceptable now.
Right. It's like the language is evolving in real time. In academic or scientific writing, you'll still see the data show, but in business and casual contexts, the data shows is totally fine. The key is consistency. Pick one and stick with it throughout your document or presentation.
And here's something that might surprise you. Even we, native speakers, sometimes have to think about this stuff. Like, should I say $10 is a lot or $10 are a lot? We think of it as one amount of money, so it's $10 is a lot.
Same with time and distance. 20 minutes is enough time to get there, or 5 miles is not that far to walk. Even though it sounds like you're talking about multiple minutes or miles, you're really talking about one amount of time or distance.
You know what's interesting? In job interviews, these little grammar details can actually help you stand out, but not in a way you might think. It's not about being perfect. It's about showing you care about details and clear communication. That extra attention to grammar signals professionalism.
Absolutely. And remember, every English learner we know, including ourselves when we were learning other languages, goes through this exact same process. You're not alone in finding this challenging. The fact that you're listening to this podcast means that you're already on the right track.
One last tip before we go. If you're writing something important like an email to your boss or a school application, write it first, then read it out loud to yourself. Your ear will catch mistakes that your eyes missed. It's like having a built-in grammar checker.
And honestly, the more you expose yourself to English through podcasts like this one, through books, through conversations with native speakers, the more these patterns will just start to feel natural. Your brain is incredibly good at picking up patterns, even when you're not consciously trying to.
So keep going, keep practicing, keep being patient with yourself. And remember, every single person who speaks English fluently today was once exactly where you are right now, making the same mistakes, feeling the same frustrations. You're part of a huge community of language learners, and we're all cheering you on. Until next time, keep practicing and say it real.